Hey guys, Ryan Ripke here with Rust Belt Coaches Network. This is my first video that I'm doing on my own. Uh, Derek has finally given me freedom to create my own video. I think I was maybe worrying him a little bit that maybe my content would be uh, maybe not quite appropriate. I know Derek has got very high standards when it comes to appropriateness. So anyway, um, I've been tossing around the idea of putting together kind of like almost like a video series. Maybe I don't know if I'll be able to do it once a week, once every other week. So I'm coaching basketball this winter. I'm coaching, helping out with the girls basketball program in my area. And so I'll be going to some games to scout, but I'll also be going to some guys' games just for pure enjoyment. And what I wanted to do was I just wanted to share some things that I maybe saw in some of the games that I witnessed. Maybe a great out of bounds play, maybe a great late game situation, maybe just a great example of creating a great environment by a coach, creating a great relationships with his or her players. I'm very passionate about culture, about creating an environment that the kids come and want to perform. They want to be there. They want to have some fun, but they also want to really fight for each other. Um, just a big believer in that. I've had some success with some teams that the culture that we created was just one that you just didn't want the season to end. We had some softball players, we had some track runners, and they were not ready for the basketball season to be over with. And I just firmly believe that creating that kind of a culture in your program is how you win some tight games. It's how you come back when you're not playing well, when you've got a deficit and you're down late. Which brings me to the reason why I'm making this video now. This was week one of the high school football season in the state of Ohio, and so I went to a local game. I'm not going to mention team names. At least I'm going to try not to when I do these videos. Not that I just don't want to embarrass anybody, just in case I say something wrong. But I went to a local high school football game, and the home team was down 14-0 at halftime. To be honest, it could have been worse because they did have a goal line stand that would have obviously made it 20 or 21-0. They would have been down 3 scores. So they go down. They're down 14-0 at halftime. Come out in the third quarter, and they're playing better. They score a touchdown. Miss the field goal, so they're down 14-6. And you could just tell it was a young team. It was a young team. They've had a lot of success in the past, but they had a lot of sophomores playing both on offense and defense. Some of their top players were sophomores. They had some juniors. I think the quarterback might have been the only senior. They had some seniors on the defense, maybe 4 or 5 seniors, maybe 6. I'm not quite sure, but they were playing a lot of underclassmen, a lot of inexperienced kids. And so you're down 14-0 at halftime, and these kids are playing varsity football for the first time, many of them. Okay, and there's a lot of self-doubt. If those of you guys who have been coaching for quite a few years and really know your kids, you know that when the lights turn on for the first time and you're on that court or football field or whatever it is for the first time as a varsity player, things get real fast. Okay. So they're down 14-6 going into the fourth quarter. They score a touchdown late to make it 14-12. They don't get the 2-point conversion to tie it up. So they are down with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game, and they're out of timeouts. Okay. Well, the home team first play from scrimmage, and the quarterback rolls out, and I just am thinking, I've been a football fan my whole life. I coached one season, but that's a long story. Definitely not a football mind, but I do know in that situation, you run the ball. I mean, right? Run the ball, work the clock. If you have to punt it, you punt it away, and you make them go as far down the field as they have to. Okay. So he rolls out, and as you can probably imagine, it gets intercepted by the defensive line, and they're probably going probably on the 40-yard line going in. Maybe 50-yard line. I can't remember. But anyway, they got about 2.5 minutes left to go, and they only need one play. Long, deep pass. Wide receiver catches it, and I mean just runs by the secondary, scores a touchdown. They get the 2-point conversion this time, and so now they're up 20-14. The other team has to throw now. Well, they end up throwing a pick six. The home team ends up winning 27-14. So how do you get a team like that, especially a young team, to fight through a situation like that, and to have the belief that they can come back and win? In my opinion, and once again, okay, I've been coaching for 25 years. I've coached everything from 5th grade all the way up to college basketball. But I don't claim to be an expert on anything. My opinions are just opinions, okay? But in my opinion, I think you create a situation where you create an environment, you create a culture that instills belief in the kids, where you instill the beliefs in those kids that you are capable of doing this. You are capable. You are a varsity basketball player. In this case, you are a varsity football player, and that's why you're on the field. That's why I'm playing you. Okay? And sometimes, quite honestly, right, you have to fake it to make it. Okay? Maybe that kid's on the court, or maybe that kid's on the field because you don't have any other better options. Okay? But get that kid to believe that he's in there because he's able to do the job for you. Okay? And I'm telling you, this home team they were getting dominated. Okay? That first half, like I said, they should have been down 20-0. But everything I've heard about this football coach is he creates this culture in his program where he is building his kids up constantly. He's investing in these kids constantly, not just as an athlete, not just as a student athlete, but as a human being. Okay? He realizes that he is not just coaching football players. He's coaching future husbands, future fathers, future employers, and future contributing members to society, right? So this afternoon, I emailed this coach and I said, Coach, I've heard some stories about your program, and I kind of want to get your take on it. And so he emailed me back and he said, Ryan, I'm starting something new this year. I've started something new this year. During the preseason, I started going over some things with the kids. Taught them CPR. Okay, taught them stop the bleed. All right. He said I brought in a buddy of mine who's in the business world, and he talked to them about how to give a great first impression in an interview, and then I had them create a resume. Okay. The other thing that he did, and I'm checking my notes real quick because the last thing he did was he had the chief of police in their town come in and just talk to them about making good decisions. Okay. We'd like to believe that all our kids come from 2-parent homes that instill great morals in them, but as we all know, that's not the case. Some of the kids that we coach come from very dysfunctional situations, and they probably some of them don't know how to make good decisions. Okay. Now those four things, okay, making good decisions, interviews or resumes, stop the bleed, CPR, those things, those things didn't help them win that football game Friday night. They had nothing to do with it. Okay. Um, but he's instilling in them um, values that he believes are important for them that go beyond football. And what those kids see is that my coach doesn't just think of me as an athlete. He doesn't just think of me as a student athlete, right? He's not just on me about my grades, okay? He's teaching me life lessons. And once again, my opinion, when you create an environment like that and when you have a culture surrounded by that kind of behavior, those kids are going to run through walls for you. And when you tell them, hey, listen, dude, I know that um, I know that you're just a sophomore, and I know that you're starting your first football game, and I know you dropped a touchdown pass in the earlier in the game that would have tied it. Listen, dude, I believe in you. Okay, you're going to come up big tonight. We need you. All right. He believes that. She believes that. And I think that's how. And I think that's how you win games like that. I think that's how you win games that win games that you shouldn't. Okay, those games that you come in and you're a huge underdog, and somehow, even as the coach, you don't know how, but in the first three quarters, we've hung with them. And now, if we can finish this thing, I know I got my kids believing that they can win this thing. Now, if we can just finish it, that's how you do it. Okay, you get them trusting in you to tell them the truth. And so those are my thoughts. Once again, it's not basketball, but it is definitely you can go to any game, any sport, and you're going to learn lessons about coaching and kids that you can apply to your own team and your own sport. I'm a reader. I like to read coaching books. I like to read motivational books. Books surrounded by culture. And the book that I'm currently reading right now, and maybe it's not backwards, Called to Empower by Kurt Hines. He's a coach that I follow on X, used to be called Twitter. Got a lot of neat things to say about coaching. He's a high school football coach out in California. He's got a pretty decent following, I think, on X. But it almost reads like a coach's devotional. Okay, I don't know if there are any people out there, any coaches out there that do devotions in their spiritual life or not. But this is almost like a devotional. And each chapter, and they're really short chapters. Some are really maybe a paragraph long, but each chapter is titled with a tweet or an X post that he had made, and then he kind of just talks about why he made that post. Okay, so the one that I read today, I really loved, and it says 10 keys to great leadership. Number 1, know your why. Why are you coaching? Number 2, share your why. Share with your players what your why is. Okay, if they don't know what your why is, then it doesn't matter. Okay, if your why is because I want to create future fathers, future wives, future employers, future adults who are going to be great members of society, then they're going to know why you're doing what you're doing. Number 3, define winning. What does winning mean to you? Number 4, love those you lead. That's huge. If you don't love if you don't love the kids that you're coaching, do us all a favor and just step aside for someone else. Okay. Number 5, help others find their way, find their why. Number 6, build relationships. Okay. I mean, it's huge, right? It's got to be the foundation of your program. Number 7, give your all. Number 8, demand others give their all. Number 9, empower others. Number 10, create more leaders. Just my thoughts tonight on a Sunday night as I get ready for my second full week of school. And I hope you guys find this video helpful, maybe inspirational. I don't know. But have a great week, coaches.